Welcome to this episode of Ink It Up with Jessica TV. I'm Jessica, and today I'm going to show you how to make this happy birthday card and give you some tips for using your Big Shot die cutting machine. The first thing we're going to do on this card is emboss this background piece. So I have a piece of pink pirouette cardstock that is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I'm just going to put that inside of my garden trellis embossing folder. So your paper is just going to go right inside that folder, and then we're going to make our Big Shot sandwich. I'm going to put down the Big Shot platform, then a clear cutting pad, then my embossing folder with the paper inside, and then another clear cutting pad. Now there's a little bit of controversy around which way you should put your folder through the Big Shot. I always put my folder in with the opening first because I feel like it keeps my paper right where I want it in my folder. But other people say that you should put the fold first, and that if you put this way first, it'll crack your folder or break it. I've never broken a folder, and I have been doing it this way for at least 8 years. So I like to put mine open side of the folder in, and then another clear cutting pad on top. And then I'm going to go ahead and just roll that right on through the Big Shot. So when you take your paper out, it's like magic. It's embossed, it's raised, it's so pretty, and it's so quick and easy to do that. The next step in our card is to cut this white label piece for the background. So to do that, I'm going to use the largest framelit from the Lots of Labels framelit die set. And to make our Big Shot sandwich for that, we're going to start again with the Big Shot platform. When we're using the thinlit and framelit dies, we need to add the thin die adapter. Then I'm going to add a clear cutting pad, my paper. Then I'll add my framelit with the ridge side down because that's the side that cuts. And I'll put it right to the edge of my paper so that I'm not wasting any cardstock. Then I'm going to add another clear cutting pad on top, and we'll go ahead and run that through. That snapping sound is normal, don't be alarmed. That just happens when your framelit is running through, and then that will just pop out, and there's our piece that we're going to stamp on. The final piece we're going to use the Big Shot for is the Happy Birthday, and to do that I'm going to use the Happy Birthday Thinlits die on Berry Burst cardstock. So I've cut a piece of cardstock that's just a little bit larger than my die, and what I'm going to show you today is an easy way to glue this down. So if you cut this out and then you have to add the glue, it's a really thin, and you can use the fine tip glue, but it's a little bit harder and a little bit messier. So what I like to do is use the multi-purpose adhesive sheets. So here are the sheets how they come, and you can cut these down. So what I did was I cut a piece down to be the size of the cardstock that I cut to fit behind my die. So then, let me just move this out of the way. What you can do is peel, it says peel here. So this is going to be sticky. So if I put my cardstock on this now, then once I run it through the Big Shot with my die, there's going to be adhesive all over the back of my Happy Birthday. So it's just going to be really easy to glue down. Okay, so peel that up. And then I'm just going to start at this edge and line up the edge of my cardstock with this little lip. And then press down. So then I'm just going to grab my paper snips. And you might want to have just one set aside for adhesive because it could get a little sticky. And then I'll peel this off. So now on the back of this entire piece of Berry Burst will be glue. So let's go ahead and cut out our Happy Birthday. We're going to start with the Big Shot platform. And again, because this is a thinlit die, I'm going to add the thin die adapter. And then a clear cutting pad. Then my cardstock with the die on top of it, and finally another clear cutting pad. And we'll go ahead and just run that through the Big Shot. If you want to make sure you get a good cut, you may want to run it back again. And let's see how that comes out. So you can see the pieces just kind of pop right out. If you have your paper snips handy too, you might want to use those to just push those pieces out. Lots of little pieces in this one. So once you have most of the little pieces out, there's all these little holes, and you can actually just poke something there to grab the piece, and then it's just going to pop right out. And there is my happy birthday. So let's go ahead and do some stamping and assembling of this card. Next, I'm going to use some stamps from the Happy Birthday Gorgeous stamp set to stamp the flowers on the top and the bottom of the label. I'll start with the large flowers in the top and bottom, and they just go right in these little pre-made half circles from the label. So I'm going to stamp those in pink pirouette first, the background. It's right at the top and at the bottom. Then I'm going to stamp the detail over top with Berry Burst. Then I'll move on to the smaller flowers on the side, and those are going to be in all Berry Burst. What I'm going to do to make the background a little bit lighter is ink it up with my Berry Burst ink, and then stamp it off on my scratch paper, and then stamp it on my card. So that'll just give it a little bit lighter color. And I'm stamping these in the second little bump of the label. So ink it up, stamp it off, stamp it on. Ink it up, stamp it off, stamp it on. Then we'll come in with the detail for the stamp, and I'm just going to stamp it full strength Berry Burst. So straight on top of those other flowers. And you'll notice that my flowers don't match up perfectly, and that's totally okay. So there's my flowers. Then finally, I'm going to come in and add these little leaves with lemon lime twist. So you can just fill in a few leaves wherever you think you need some. And then we're ready to glue our card all together. When I'm taping my pieces together, especially when I've embossed them, I like to use my fast fuse adhesive, and underneath it the silicone mat. This makes sure that I don't get any stray adhesive onto my stamping mat. So I have a Whisper White card base. This is just 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. You can fold it in half or score it at 4 1/4 to make your card base. Then I'm going to put the tape on the back of the pink pirouette cardstock that I embossed. And I do go a little bit heavier on my adhesive when I am gluing down embossed cardstock because the tape doesn't stick everywhere, and you want to make sure that it really stays stuck. Nothing worse than sending a card and having it fall apart in the mail. So I'm just going to center that on my card front. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my label that I've stamped on. I put some fast fuse on the back. I like to put my adhesive around the edges so that it doesn't peel up. And maybe this edge here. And then I'll just stick this right in the center of my card. And finally, I already have adhesive on the back of my Happy Birthday. So I just need to peel off this paper backing. And of course the hardest part is just getting the first little piece off, and then it's going to nicely just peel. So the whole entire back of this Happy Birthday, it now has adhesive on it. So it's really going to stay into place well. So I'll just carefully put that over top of my label. And there you go, you have a beautiful birthday card to send. This card was actually inspired by a card in the 2017-2018 annual Stampin' Up! Catalog. And this is the sample that I looked at. This is actually a tag on a gift box, but I took the tag idea, changed up the Happy Birthday color a little bit, and put it on a card. So I hope that you'll look at your Stampin' Up! Catalog as a place to get inspiration from and take the ideas in it and make them your own. If you need a copy of the latest catalog, you can request one at inkitupwithjessica.com/catalog. If you like this video, hit the like button below and share it with your friends. And be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.